Check out that finger. Mmm. Such nice skin. I gotta wait 30 seconds before I say my first swear word. That's uh that's YouTube policy. No swearing in the first 30 seconds. You know how fucking hard that is? Ha! Made it 33. How are you doing, James? Brother, just close. Oh, good, brother. Just closed on my first house. Right on, dude. Congratulations. What a rough time to buy, though. Ouch. That's a rough time, man. Like, I understand the desire to have a nice house and everything, but fuck, dude, in this market right now, that's it's hard to make money in this market right now if you're buying right now. You know what I'm saying? Selling, yeah, selling, you can make tons of cash. I mean, this place I got here without my improvements, according to the internet, Zillow and on Realtor and all those fuck websites, has gone up 200 grand since I bought it in a year and a half ago. So not even a year and a half, a year ago. But this guy on my forum is incorrect. Yeah. This place was so this place I have is it was manufactured home, and it had this shop on it. I'm gonna back up here as much as I can, and it had this shop, and it was somewhat attached to the house, as you can see, with this breezeway thing, and I had the lean-to, but it was all just dirt and gravel. There was no concrete anywhere, and in there too, with two pieces together, it was also just dirt floor. They laid out some plastic on top of it or something. And I was like, well, I need a shop I can work in. So I dipped into the savings and had some people pour me concrete, lots and lots of concrete. This pad here, I can fit 3 cars on this pad pretty easily. Then the shop's 30 by 40, had them pour that. And then my little breezeway, I got the breezeway, the area between the two. But it's not much of a breezeway really because it's enclosed, right? Can we see in there? No, it's just reflection of the city. There we go. I had to pour concrete in there too. There's quite a bit of concrete. And then I insulated and wired, put lights in it. We built this loft for all of my shit as Igor accent. Even though I talk to Igor every day, I can't copy it. So I got this video card here. It's a 1060. If anybody wants it, $750, you can have it. Because the going rates on video cards is stupid expensive too, like houses. Actually, I'm giving that to a friend of mine, Nick. He's building his first PC ever. So I'm gonna give it to him as a gift for doing so much stuff motor together, and he's gonna put my other Subi motor together. I kind of taught him how to do it, and now he does it all the time for us. It's really nice of him. So I'm gonna give him some shit. And dude, so this house. This house was fucking gross. Okay? This house, this manufactured home was built in 1998. Fuck, it's bright out here. Their dog had peed on everything. And I mean everything. The wood and the cabinets and everything, the corners were decaying away. The cabinet didn't go to the floor anymore. It decayed away. This huge open, the piss had just eaten away all the wood, and it broke it away. And all the carpet was. I mean, the whole place smelled so fucking bad. And yeah, it was bad. So it was worse than we had thought. We did the walkthrough. We spilled a little bit of pee. Told us there was some spots. I was like, okay, no big deal. And then took all their stuff out, and it was like, holy shit, what did we just eat ourselves into? So day one, we all the carpet, all the carpet, everything. We just tore it all out. I'm gonna try and brighten this down on my phone because it's getting hot already. There we go. I don't read your comments very well, but the thing's already getting hot. Anyways, so we got all the flooring, cabinets. We just gutted the whole friggin' house, and the subfloor was fucked. And I had to go through and cut out so much of the subfloor. I couldn't believe it. It was just everywhere. And once I got on the subfloor, though, I found out that the joists in the house were really good, and I was actually really happy that this house, even though it's manufactured, it was actually built really, really well. Um, it had big 2x8 joists, for the floor, and the wood looked fucking brand new. It was highly insulated underneath, and the walls, it's 2x6 outer walls. It was just very insulated, double pane windows. The whole thing was built really, really well. Um, but that dog had just ruined everything. The around the toilet was just wet, and like the the subfloor was swelling up, like inches of subfloor swell from the moisture. And by moisture, I mean urine. And so like it looked like the toilet seal was leaking. Like it was just fucking gross. And then I pulled the toilet, and turned out the seal was not leaking. The dog was pissing on the front of the toilet. Um, yeah, man, it was men and maybe ladies. Nah, not my channel. Yeah, it was bad. It was really, really bad. So it was gross. And we went through and just tore everything out. And I had a big, huge dumpster, out front, the 30 or 50 or whatever the fucking biggest 150-yard ones it is. Just huge. And when you walked outside or you drove up, you smelled piss because I had pulled everything out and stuck it in that dumpster. And you just smelled pee outside. It was really gross. But eventually, after replacing many, many sheets of wood, right before the lumber prices went up, and the subfloor, we remodeled the entire house. I mean, like I said, I full gutted it. I redid all the bathrooms. Um, I, I, I designed a new kitchen, and then I had the cabinets made for the kitchen that I designed. I built, walls and bar tops and everything. So I put way too much money into a manufactured home than anybody probably should. However, a new one was just too fucking expensive. I ended up putting like 50 into it, but if I wanted a new one, it was going to be 160. So I just put a bunch of money into it. Borrowed 25 grand from my dad, and all of that. So it it's turned into a nice place now. It's getting there. I still have to finish the trim and all that shit. But anyways, enough about my fucking house and this market and all that. Lucky that it's gone up because I put so much fucking money into it that I wouldn't make any money selling it if it hadn't. So I got the GPU. I got some packages going out. I get people that ordered cooling mods. Got a guy ordered a cam tool kit here. So good call on that, dude. It is the best fucking cam tool ever made. I can say that without any arrogance at all because it's just plain fucking true. That thing is awesome, and everyone that buys one is always something that fucking email or video or a PM. Like, man, this thing rocks. This tool is awesome. I'm a firm believer in this cam tool. Of all the things that a cam seal tool, I should say. I know it sounds weird to be excited about a cam seal tool, but if you do a lot of motors and you do the cam seal, you're trying to get the depth just right and the angle right, and it kicks on you slowly sometimes, and you're trying to tap it in, or some people put the seal on, then put the cap on, and then try and tap it, square it up. Like, it still takes time. But this tool, you screw in the guide piece into the end of the cam, you put the seal over it, you slide the tool on it, and you just hold it in place, and you go boom with a hammer, tap it a couple times, you're done. Like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to write alignments. You don't have to do anything. The guide pin keeps the tool perfectly square, or perpendicular to the axis of the cam, and therefore parallel to the front of the head. Now, what you might not also know is that the cam cap, as it is next to the head, is not the same height they made it. So if you're trying to do it by hand, you're trying to judge, is this deep enough? Because on one side, the cam cap sticks out a few millimeters versus the other. And you're like, oh, fuck, I don't know. I think it's good. This seal is perfect because, this seal tool is perfect because it has the offset built into it. You just tap it in till it's flush, and you're good to go. And it's the perfect depth every time. It literally takes longer to screw in the guide than it does to install the seal. And that whole process is 5 times faster than trying to do it by hand with a socket or whatever else you're using. And the diameter of the impact lip on the seal is the exact diameter and thickness so that you don't damage the seal at all either during install. So it's super sweet, and if you put motors together, super engines together, you're going to want one. And with a small modification, I can make this work for 4G63, I found that out, and I kind of regret not doing that initially. But after I built it, I was like, oh, I got this 4G head. I wonder how close that is. Fuck, it's so close. Um, so if I might offer it as a service if people want that, or as an upgrade where I'll go in and all I gotta do is cut a slight counter bore on the front of it, and it'll work on a 4G63 too. 4G63 also. I don't know what a 4G63 is, but a 4G63 also. And then I am looking at doing a few of them for other makes and models as well. Obviously, Subaru guys don't give a shit about other makes and models, but it's a great tool. It works really good. And I like to use it. So, that being said, those are my shipments. Now, I gotta grab my laptop. Because today I'm driving the Corvette, and I had been working my booty off trying to get this thing to idle right. I worked on some this morning. I think I nailed it. I figured out what it was. There's this on older cars, it's called a dash pot function, right? And it's basically, it's an idle follower that adds duty cycle based on throttle position and then decays it away to 0 when you let off. And so this idle follower or throttle follower, there's 4 different idle strategies on this car, which makes it even more difficult. I don't need both knives. And so you got to tune the ones for when you're in idle, in neutral, stationary, and then rolling up to 3 miles an hour, and then from 3 miles an hour and above, right? You have all these idle strategies you got to do. And then if you're in gear versus in neutral, if your clutch is in or out, all that stuff matters. And so trying to figure out which one you're working on at which time can be confusing sometimes because they have so many different idle routines on them. It's crazy. So I actually buckled down this morning, logged the right parameters, and got it to idle really, really well now. While sitting, I got to work on the rolling part now. So it may still do the and die when I come to a stop thing. I don't know yet. Right now, I'm loading my laptop in my case just to get to the car for my power adapter. Check out that ceiling. Pretty sweet, right? It's all white and stuff. I got to insulate that some more too. That's just like, you know, R6 up top. I'm going to get some more R19 freaking 2x6 by 24-inch bats and put them in the ceiling before winter hits so that the heat will stay here in the shop and not run its way to the outside. A second, I gotta wrap up my power cable. And then we're gonna start the Corvette and listen to it. I've been working on the startup too. I mean, yeah, it's just a start, right? They usually start pretty good, but sometimes it would start and just kind of sit at a low RPM, and I wanted it to be a higher, a little bit of a flare and settle, and there was no flare. It was just barely jumping to life. And, you know, I don't want that. Now, check this shit out. If you didn't see my stream yesterday, go watch the replay. Please, go watch the replay from yesterday. I talk about the stuff that I discovered taking this car apart and the fucking nightmare that it is. And the reason why I am walking and sitting funny today is because this car fucked me in the ass. So here are the parts that I took off of it. I'm just going to end up selling them now. I really wish I could do something with them, but I'm just going to sell them. I'm going to part the thing out and put it back to a stock-ish form and sell the car. That's just kind of what's happening. Too much shitty stuff going on with it. Some really surprising stuff too. Holy crap. Yeah. I don't need this 8mm with me. If you do certain throttle control changes in the tune on these cars, you piss them off really bad, and you have to unplug the battery or it won't work again. It won't work again. So Travis says, yes, it is. I'm not sure what yes, it is means. If he's saying yesterday's stream was worth it or not. It was a good one. I got to get new bolts for this side because these are just a little short. And there's only a couple threads to hold them on. I don't like that. Now, what's cool, though, is the Subaru oil pump bolts work really good for these. That's on that side. But I'm going to get some new bolts, clean that up a little bit, make it a little prettier, and all of that. I also want to get my buddy Igor's Corvette And I want to see how much blow-by his thing has. Now I get this thing's a forged motor. It's gonna have a little more blow-by and stuff, but it seems like it has a little more than it should. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I'll fuck with it. I gotta take that box to Nick as well, because that has the bolts in it for the other LS that he's putting together for me right now. I have a $10,000 bottom end he's putting together for me. I know it sounds ridiculous to say $10,000 bottom end. Holy shit, right? But then I guess, guys, get in on Subarus all the time, right? What do I do with the key? You should leave her in. Well, fuck me. So that bottom end, it's got a billet crankshaft. Here's the key. It's in my pocket. Speaking of that, do I have the keys? Yes, I do. All right, we're good. Take two. It's got a Callie's billet crankshaft, 6'3" long rods that were custom done. Custom JE pistons, etc. Listen to that fucking torque tube rattle. Not sure if you're ever getting used to that. I just put new bearings in this torque tube because it rattled loud, and then I put an unsprung fucking clutch in here. And guess what that does to torque tubes? It makes them rattle loud. Yeah, good call, Dom. I'm gonna fix this rattling problem, and then I'm immediately gonna fuck it by adding more rattling problem. Yeah. Sounds good as long as the oil stays thick. As soon as the oil starts thinning out and getting too hot, that fucking bad lifter starts making a lot of noise. Oh yeah. Okay, so that doesn't work yet. I gotta fix that part too. Nice. Yeah, so this is great. I think I told you guys this part. This is wonderful. I did a bunch of mods to the last engine, put the it was still the stock 5.7. I had a cam in it, I had heads, CNC ported heads, link bar, lifters, shaft mounted rockers, big 5/8 or 5/8, 5/16 or 3/8. What were they? They were the big size. What the big size was? Push rods. It was, oh, and the fast LSXR intake with the 90-something mil throttle body. I had it all done. And I was really excited. And I took it to the dyno to see what I could do. And it did not make power. And I was fucking bummed out, as anybody would be, right? I had the setup with the factory LS6 intake and throttle body and factory injectors. It basically added 100 wheel when I did the cam, heads, headers, and all that. Then I got the intake and the bigger injectors, and I was like, let's see if I get some power with that. And I lost like 30 wheel. And I was like, what is going on? Like, why am I losing horsepower on this? Didn't make any sense. Like, nobody bolts on the fast manifold and loses 30 wheel. Except me. So what the fuck? And so I was getting frustrated during the DynoTune day, going, what is going on? Like, why am I? It kept dying. It didn't want to run, which didn't make any sense because it ran fucking great. All I did was change the intake manifold and throttle body. Like, yeah, that was gonna be changed with the idle control, but I didn't think it would just run like absolute ass. Well, I was on the dyno for hours trying to figure out why this thing won't make power, and everything's like spot on. Air fuels are right, timing's right, like. It's, you know, I'm comparing it to old logs and everything looked really good. And then I started hearing this knocking noise. And I was like, motherfucker. Well, that's why. You know, when you spin a bearing, you lose a lot of horsepower. So I was like, okay, so I spun a bearing in the 5.7. Fine. I totally get that. I mean, I've been beating the shit out of the stock motor. I've been running it to 7,200 RPM, right, which is way above the factory red line. With this cam on here, you know, yeah, sure. I get it. I spun a bearing on it, fine. So Igor and I were driving it home from the dyno, and it's making a lot of noise. And we're like, is it going to make it? You know? I mean, you don't worry about ruining heads that much when you spin a bearing on an LS because it's push rods. There's nothing in the heads. There's no bearings in the heads, right? So whatever. And the bottom end's fucked, so I just drove it. I was like, I'll drive it home. So what? Worst case, I fucked the cam up. I got a bigger cam, right? So I bring it home. I park it. That's it. You know, wait till the next day. Next day, I fire it up. It's quiet. Well, I mean, that makes sense. That happens a lot on cars. You spin a bearing, next day you fire it up, it's quiet. Till you hit a certain RPM, then it starts making noise again. But it is not uncommon for a car to spin a bearing and be quiet the next day when you start it for the first time. Whether it's because the bearing spun inside the housing or whatever. Like that's not uncommon. So I was like, all right, well, we'll get on the lift and get it ready. But man, it drove good, just back and forth in the driveway, idled fine, and I was really perplexed. Like that's really weird. You know, whatever. We're gonna pull it out. I got an engine built anyways. Nick just finished putting it together for me. Fuck it, we're doing that. And we pull the engine out, and we cannot find anything wrong with it. Nothing. So I pull all the rod caps. Every bearing's immaculate. Pull the whole engine down. Everything is great. One rod looks like it might be bent. It might be. This rod might be bent. I'm looking at it, looks a little wonky, but there's no funny wear marks. There's no cylinder impact marks. There's nothing. The bearing is everything is fucking perfect. Pull the crank. Maybe it's the main bearing. Pull the crankshaft out. Bearing's perfect. Pull the cam out. Bearings are perfect. Cam is perfect. Everything's perfect. Like, what the hell is making all that noise? Check out lifters. They seem fine. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I get the new motor, and we're putting everything in the new engine. I say motor, the new engine, the new bottom end. And I'm dropping lifters in, and I'm putting push rods in, and one of them feels a little squishy all of a sudden. I was like, this one feels squishy. Now, these are short travel, comp cams, lift link bar, you know, high RPM lifters. They're only supposed to have like 10 thou of preload. That's it. And this thing's moving like 40 thou. I was like, is that bad? None of the other lifters are doing it. But did this one just lose its pump because I had it sitting on the table and it had drained out over 4 days? You know, because there's an oil puddle there. Like, is that all it was? So I took note of where that one was at. Finished putting the engine gear, put in the car, fired up, no noise. All right, sweet. Well, there was no noise when there was no mufflers because I couldn't hear anything. And then we put the mufflers on it, and now I hear it. So, and I hear the torque tube and all kinds of other fucking noises. So, turns out that lifter was bad. So, I'm bummed because they got to yank the head off now because you have to take heads off to change lifters in the LS. But I'm happy because I finally know what it was. I finally know that it was that lifter. So, I put that lifter on number 7, back cylinder, and the very last slot because it was questionable. At least I knew where it would be, you know, if it had to be changed out. And it does. So, that lifter sometimes works. And it works pretty good when the oil is thick, but when it starts to thin out and it gets higher temperatures, it starts to make noise again. So, I probably shouldn't drive much, but fuck it, I'm driving it. And I got to work on that rolling idle. So that's my next step. Work on the rolling idle aspect of it. Any questions I missed? Cam so loud you don't notice a rattle. You do in the car, unfortunately. You know, you do in the car when, especially when the windows are up, it's loud. My wife kept looking down at my shifter like, is it okay? I'm like, yeah, it's just noisy. Push the clutch in, goes away. But Igor and I put brand new, the highest end SKF bearings you can put that will fit in this thing in it. So like it shouldn't rattle like crazy. It should have good bearings in it. But I put new Guibos. How the fuck are you supposed to say that? Let's try this again. So I'm gonna rev it. So gear neutral, rev dies. All right. Let's try it differently now. Huh. Hear that? course, it's not warm. I should probably have it warmed this way, right? It's only 1:30. I want to drive it though. Fuck you, car. Alright, so now it's plugged in. Still dips. One thing here about these ECUs, man, too many idle control routines. Too many idle routines. That thing was perfect just an hour ago. Every time I revved it, it would fucking just park right at 800 after the rev. Just go, stop, perfectly fine. Now, nope. I really wish I had a freaking standalone that allowed you to keep all the body control module and shit working, but that's not an option right now. So it's really a bummer. Let's see what happens. How many more challenges do you throw standalone in? Well, that's the problem, right? Like, I have to get rid of all the stuff. Like the body control module won't work properly, and all the cluster shit and everything won't work properly, and you know, like, I want that stuff to work. So we're back? Oh, it's back. Oh, okay. Hey, welcome back. I lost connection there for a minute. I'm pulling up the laptop here, so I'm trying to figure out which part of the idle routine is causing the bucking. So what we have here is we have idle cracker, idle follower, and then the adaptation for what is right now that needs to be added to the base map. Now, I have the AC running, so our desirable airflow is quite high. Now, this is a ridiculously high number. I don't know if you know anything about LS, but that is a stupid high amount of air needed to keep this thing running. But the cam is so big, that's just what it fucking needs, unfortunately. We got a little bit of a long-term trim here of like about minus 10% or so, looks like, which keeps happening on the spot. I'm starting to wonder if it's the overlap causing it, because I keep pulling the fuel out and I keep getting the exact same trim. And then if I pull too much fuel out, the car gets angry, so I don't know what's lying to me there, but pounds per minute. Yeah, I want to change that to hour. I'm trying all the units to hour for the idle control, because I want them to be, there we go. Alright. So, what I got to figure out is which one of these is tripping and causing the bucking. I think I'm going between the two, I think is the problem. I think one of these is under 3 miles an hour, one's over. I think I'm cracking between the two of them, or one of them is too high and the decay rate is wrong for this engine. What's curious about this is you have to get the decay rate right based on the rotational inertia of this engine. Otherwise, it, so okay, I see airflow there. Okay, so the cracker now is 5, 4th. Okay, so it's bouncing around a little bit. So my accelerator pedal now, because I'm getting shook. See, I'm not doing, oh, okay, look at, so the follower is kicking in as well? Let's see, it's not supposed to do that. Okay, so I got follower and cracker that are both coming in and messing with each other. So I must have a threshold I need to adjust in there somewhere. I'm getting this oscillation here on the pedal that I'm not doing. Huh. Okay, can we stop? Boop. Idler cover's fine. 1 second, it's fucking shitty. 1 second, it's perfect. Love it! I love it! I also love to hit the gas pedal when we go for the brake. Alright. Look at that throttle position. That's not even accurate though. That doesn't even... It only goes like 80 when you're full open anyways. Still, even if that's 80 is full open, 13's a lot just to idle. Alright, so these two keep popping up. So let's go to those. So the cracker, that's kind of a big set. 5 is probably too much, and that could be my problem. But the weird thing about the cracker is, like, if you don't use it, then it stalls a lot when you're rolling. And that's enabled at 4. Disabled at 3. So anything over 4, that's active. What's the decay rate? 0.6. 0.6 decay. Okay. Maybe my decay is too fast. Delay, very short. And this is rolling idle. Over 3. So potentially I would say maybe I should disable the cracker and just rely on rolling idle control. But I think cracker is in gear and rolling idle is in neutral, right? Is that right? Yeah, neutral. So do I need the cracker when I'm driving? I probably don't. As long as I put the sucker in neutral. Let's see if my bucking goes away. Let's do that. Let's just fucking experiment this together. Because this thing sucks. When it's bucking around like that. So let's try this together. Stop. Disconnect. Alright, so I'm going to disable the cracker altogether and see how that affects my jerkiness. If it doesn't affect the jerkiness, then it ain't it. If it does affect the jerkiness, then I need to adjust the cracker to eliminate that. Whether I need to increase or decrease the decay so it's slower to respond, or increase the delay to give it more time to stay at the same value before it tries to decay to 0. Or if I just need to reduce the cracker a little bit overall. Now from the factory, this is like 12, and you see I had it down to 5. I was just trying to keep it from going too hog wild, but you know, for SNGs, I might go back to the factory map just for. What the fuck? Wow, that's really hot. All right. Sorry, my heater just started blowing in my face. I also did a really super technical way of adjusting my AC pressure. I went under the hood and opened the Schrader valve for half a second. Igor was like, I think I put too much in. Let's just fucking bleed some out. I was like, okay. Now, I did the high side, which was quite the show, let me tell you. I should have done the low side, but I did the high side. It was, I was pushing the thing. I'm like, this is hard to push. This must be the high side. I was like, yep, that was the high side. It was pretty sweet. All right. Okay, car's rolling now in neutral, clutch in. So this should be nothing. Look at that, nothing. I didn't go high enough speed to kick any of the circuits over. So idle follower now is active. Oh man, I might be just getting rid of the fucking cracker altogether. See what happens. Oh, that was beautiful. That was freaking beautiful right there. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see what close it looks like with the camera. Excuse me. Alright. I'm just gonna let it roll in neutral here we come to a stop and see if it stalls or if it transitions perfectly into the other idle mode. Oh yeah, see, it's not doing it right now. If I push the clutch in, bam, it immediately goes and recovers with the clutch in. Interesting. So in neutral, the clutch out, it was not doing any attempt, really. It was just kind of, it wasn't closed loop, it was open loop throttle. It's very interesting. This is good. This is good. The creeping's fine. Now, is he gonna stay this good? I don't know. Oh, there was a little jerk there for a second, and a dip right there. Cross traffic. Boy, that clutch rattles. Gearbox rattle big time. Seems pretty good. I don't want to have to need more bass idle, but I might need more bass. Oh, it is beautiful out here. I love it out here, man. I mean, there's a bunch of fires going on right now, but that's nationwide, which, you know, suck, obviously. Mountains. Some wheat fields here and there. Mountains. I live around the prairie, right in the middle of like a bunch of mountains, so it's really cool. I do wish I lived closer to the base of the mountain or on one, except for the wintertime. Being on one kind of sucks, but being on the prairie kind of sucks too, because the wind comes blowing through and the snow drifts are immense snow drifts and everything. So now this hasn't been on the dyno yet. This is just road tuning. But my long-term trims don't look too bad right now. Just that one spot down low. Everything else looks like it's within 3% or 4% or so. And this fucking spot right here. What is that? I don't know what that is. I gotta work on that. Right at 1400 RPM. It's weird because everything looks stable when that's happening, right? Like timing looks pretty stable. Air fuels look stable, though, too, cycling normally, and yet it just goes, So I gotta figure that out. Anyways, I should probably put the phone down. It's harder to record when driving a manual than it is when driving like the BMW, right? The BMW is pretty easy. In Ohio, we got the fields. Yeah, man, I lived in Ohio for a year and a half. I know what Ohio's like. I got offered a good 6-figure job in Ohio, and I was like, nope. No, thank you. Not living there anymore. I'm getting the fuck out. Plus, it was up by Cleveland. Who the hell would want to live there? I mean, millions of people apparently, but, you know, millions of people also like Justin Bieber, so their taste is suspect. That fucking spot. Fuck you, 1300. Yeah, do it so I catch a log. Yeah. Alright, let me stop this log so I can save that. Stop. degree duration cam, but I still think you should be better than that. So, let's see this log file driving. Is my name. Okay. Start a new one. New log. Man, these Fortune 500s are so nice. I really dig these Fortune 500 coilovers. Yeah, Iowa's pretty flat too, man. Peaches down in Georgia. Okay. I hope to come to your state and pay you big bucks to suffer through your bug eye. Yeah, it's going to take big bucks to make me do that. I'm sure if it's not going to be jank. I mean, for you to travel this kind of distance, it would not be a jank bug eye. So you're probably fine. I know I bag on bug eyes a lot, but it's because they suck. But you know, I bag on them a lot. But if they're done right, you know, I'm more than happy to fucking tune them. More than happy to spend time doing it. Man, that torque tube fly, those balls. If balls were made out of metal and banging against each other. Jesus. It's doing good now. So now it's identify that 1300 RPM hesitation and fix that lifter. I don't know, I might change this clutch out. I don't need it to be this powerful. It doesn't have to be a fucking twin plate if I'm not doing anything crazy. I mean, it's nice, this thing's really smooth, but that rattling is just enough to make a man go insane. With the horsepower I'm making, even just a factory LS7 clutch would be sufficient to hold this power, so why deal with all that if you don't have to? And that's something I want to address now that I say that. What the fuck? That's what I want to address. What the fuck is with guys putting 6-puck clutches in their daily drivers? Or twin plate competition clutches in their daily drivers? 1, you don't need that shit. 2, it's fucking shit. Those comp clutches are fucking trash. Absolute trash. There is another clutch out there on the market, if you just look a little bit, that holds just as much fucking power and drives nice and smooth. Like, why are people, because one guy in a race car did 8s in it, like, oh, well, that's obviously the clutch I should have. My car getting 8s. Like, what the fuck, you moron? Like, that shit doesn't match anything you're doing. Don't put a fucking 6-puck in your daily. There's no reason to. You're an idiot. Or you read some shit on the internet and you're unable to think for yourself. I don't get it. And those comp twin plates, fuck those. Those are junk. Don't buy into the hype that those fucking idiots trying to sell you. I have never had a clutch from comp that was any good. Every comp clutch I've ever had has been the worst fucking clutch I have ever owned. Typically, the comp clutch is this. More chatter than you can fucking imagine or even bear, with the harshest bite that should be fucking legal or even possible happening, combined with a clutch that holds less power than something else that doesn't fucking chatter or bite hard. Like, they're absolute fucking junk. Don't waste your fucking money on them. And then, oh, I gotta do a push-to-pull conversion? Fuck that. There are clutches that are made for the car that you own that you don't have to change to a push conversion. Why? Because they think it's better? Like, why the fuck do they think it's better? Because they're incapable of making a clutch the way it's supposed to be fucking made, which is obvious by every fucking clutch they make. So don't fucking buy that shit. It's absolute trash. There's a company that makes a twin plate that's a full-faced, sprung organic clutch that holds 900 foot-pounds of torque and drive like a fucking stock car. X-Clutch and ACT both offer something with a huge organic disc that's even bigger than the factory STI disc on their flywheel. Why would you downsize to a tiny little fucking disc that has no surface area
And since it has no surface area, it needs to have a material with an extremely high coefficient of friction, which means fucking nightmare for your foot and for your whole driving experience. Now this one in here now is an organic twin plate. It engages amazing, really, really good. The only issue though is it's not sprung. And because it's not sprung, this torque tube is rattling like a motherfucker. Now, it could be I fucked up the bearing install. It could be that this torque tube wouldn't rattle at all if I hadn't fucked up the bearing install. I don't think I did, you know, but this is my first ACT unsprung clutch in a Corvette, so I can't say whether or not, you know, I fucked it up. Now, regardless of that, that's not going to stop me from putting a clutch in here with springs in it. A nice sprung hub clutch, like an LSM factory clutch, is more than needed for this kind of power. It's not force induction. It's just going to be like 650 at the crankshaft, right? Like, it's totally doable. I rarely like come on my stream and dog one brand in particular besides Dodge, because Dodge is the worst thing ever made. Speaking of Dodge, dealership. Hey, fuck you, Dodge. And fuck Toyota for screwing up the BRZ. The Subaru, I mean. And, but I have to say, Comp makes the shittiest fucking clutches I've ever driven in my life. They're just fucking trash. And just because something says competition, and I don't mean clutches, I mean IGAOS in this case, doesn't mean it's fucking better. Just because something is a race version does not mean it's better. So don't buy something if they have a street version and a race version of anything. Almost always buy the street version, because you don't need the race version. Race versions usually make your car smell like oil. They usually make your car smell like fuel. They usually make everything fucking harsh, NVH through the roof. You don't need that shit. It's a Subaru. Like, there's stuff that exists for the hugest fucking aftermarket, like in the world, basically, is this goddamn Subarus now, right? There's shit that exists that will drive beautifully and handle the power that you're trying to create. No questions asked. It's out there. You just gotta go against the mainstream a little bit. You gotta do your own thinking and not let these guys that, I mean, when it comes to those products, if someone's pushing a product on you, and they're selling it, that's why they're pushing it on you. For the most part, they're pushing something really heavy, it's because they make a big fucking profit on it. That's why I try not to sell a lot of stuff. I only sell the stuff I make and a couple other products, and I can get you anything that you want, right? But I don't often push things that I sell really hard, like, oh, you gotta use injector dynamics injectors. Yeah, absolutely. Sell IDs. I mean, buy IDs. That's a no-brainer. Don't do that. I mean, to buy them, absolutely. Buy IDs all day long. Still an injector I'll ever fucking run. Or OEM. I don't sell my website. I'm not there like trying to, you know, push. I don't want margin to affect my sales pitch, right? I want my customers and the people that I give advice to get the best thing for them, not influenced by my margin. Does that make sense? So like a lot of times you get something, it's like, oh yeah, this guy says this clutch is the fucking best, and he'll give it to me for a deal. Motherfucker, he ain't looking out for you. He's looking out for himself. He gets you a deal on it. Yeah, he's knocking a couple % off. He's still making 30% or whatever, right? Like, chances are the guys are selling you wherever they make the biggest fucking margin on, right? And that happens all the time. All the time. Now, if the dude's like, hey, this is the product you should get, and you go, well, where should I get it from? And the guy says, well, you get it from me, you get it from RSD, you get it from... That guy's being honest with you. That guy's not trying to sell you something because he's making money on it, right? That guy's saying, hey, man, I recommend this component. It's the best. It's what you should get. Oh, sweet. Can you get it for me? Yeah, I mean, I can. Sure. I can do that. I can put a package together if you want me to, right? Like, he's not sitting there barking at you going, yeah, so when do you want to buy it? I'll make this package. You just fucking give me your credit card number. Like, you know, like, and I get it. I'm not a good salesman. I will never be a good salesman, and I will never make my money, you know, being a salesman because I have fucking morals. Really, is what it boils down to. I got a potty mouth, but I have morals. So stop buying those fucking shit clutches. And stop buying the competition version of everything. You're just making your life hell unnecessarily. Like, if I had chosen a better clutch, and this car would be fucking amazing right now. It'd be amazing. but I didn't realize it wasn't sprung. I thought it was a sprung hub clutch when I bought it. Then I unpackaged it and I saw it wasn't, and I went, shit. Damn it, I thought this was sprung. They make a sprung version. I bought the wrong one. I transposed a number somewhere or something, got the wrong one. Regardless, it's still really good. Just that damn rattle. And then, you know, a lot of guys, they run solid aluminum guibos or guibos or whatever the fuck you're supposed to call them. Or they run polyurethane ones or whatever. And those have a different durometer, right? A different amount of swish per pound of force, which means they also have a different resonance when you start applying frequencies to them. And it's very possible that if I changed out my guibos with something else, that the resonance, the vibration would just completely go away. Or it would just send the vibration further down the line, and I hear it rattling the transmission instead of the torque tube, or something like that. But if you buy a clutch that's made for the car, like by the OEMs, you're guaranteed to have the least amount of noise because they're going to calibrate the spring in that clutch for the engine output, the engine frequency, and basically just the general parameters of what that car is going to see to try and provide you the best driving experience possible. That's why you put a Subaru clutch in a Subaru and OEM Subaru clutch and the training's quiet. You go throw in a lightweight flywheel and a clutch by some other manufacturer, and all of a sudden you have rattles like this, where the drivetrain rattles a ton and all of that. That's because they don't have the spring rates set for the amount of inertia that the input shaft has, or in the case of this car, be the torque tube and the input shaft and all of that. So there's a lot of engineering that goes into parts that people don't recognize that goes into parts. If you look at the factory clutch, it has springs, and some years have little dampers in them, little plastic-looking pills that function as a damper. Help absorb vibrations and minimize all of that drivetrain noise. Let's say you got a GR. You're fucked if you got a GR 6-speed, because the GR 6-speed, with two sheriffs, they took out the oil pump and they realized it splashed lubrication, and I think they opened up some of the clearances on it. Those things rattle like crazy in neutral. It doesn't matter what clutch you have in a brand new factory, they rattle like crazy. So that's kind of a bummer. But I think it's because they got rid of the oil pump, and I'm assuming they opened up clearances because the older versions don't rattle like the new ones do. The ones that had the oil pump and all of that, they don't rattle like the GRs do. And I used to think that it was because the oil pump put load on the shaft and took out the slop, but the oil pump goes off the center diff, and the center diff ain't turning when you're sitting idle neutral. So it's not that. It's not the fact that the pump's there and drag. I'm assuming that it's because they altered the clearance a little bit to allow better compatibility with splash lubrication instead of the forced lubrication that the other 6-speed has. Again, that's speculation, but it's the only thing I can think of is why that gearbox would rattle so much and the older ones don't. It's right there. I don't know what that is. Timing is steady. Ejector duty cycle is steady. Everything is steady right there. So that must be some resonance I'm hitting. So what can I do to attack that resonance? I can change the timing. I can lower or advance the timing. I can lower it to make less torque, to make the impact of the power stroke reduced, and hope that clears the resonance. And there again. Everything is rock solid. Or I can add more timing, and I can go past MBT even. If I go past MBT, as long as I can stave away knock from doing it, there it is right there. I mean, I can obviously shift. I'm just trying to find the area and see if I can address it in the tune. That's what I'm doing right now. Obviously, I can shift, change RPM, add more load. If I give it more throttle, it goes away. So I'm trying to make it happen right now, just to see if I can get it on the log and figure out what's causing it. and see if it's something I can tune out or something I'm just stuck with. The idle control stuff is steady. There's definitely slop in the torque tube when that's happening. You hear it going bang, 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 bang. Wow, that's just getting louder and louder. I might have fucked that up. That's a possibility. I might have fucked that up. I don't know how. We went through and Loctite, everything was Loctite. I bought new rings for everything. Everything is retained the way it was from the factory. We went through very meticulously, ensure we had all the right bearings, the right press fit on everything. I was very meticulous about it. The higher loads doesn't do it though. It's only the really light loads. So like right now, if I raise the load, it's not there. If I lighten the load really low, and actually right about 3% throttle is where it happens the worst. Oh, you know what I have at 1300? I have my D-cell fuel cut set at RPM too. I wonder if that's like tripping in and out. I should alter that setting. Just turn off D-cell fuel cut altogether and see if the problem goes away. Because if I add throttle, once I go over 3%, it goes away. When I'm at 3% throttle, it's actually really bad. 3 and 4%. Huh. Oops, I thought I was looking the other way with the camera there. Well, hi. And I haven't even looked at the V map too. I mean, I could potentially be between two cells and have a little bit of step in there. It's possible, but I'm not in that mode. Like this ECU, you have real-time tuning options, but you have only a certain amount of tables that you can select at once. And then what you can do, which is kind of cool, is in the tune that you flash, you can tell it to, you know, I want to work on the power enrichment tables and the VE tables. And you select that, and then a handful of those tables become available in real time. Oh, I want to work on idle control tables and stuff, and those tables are available in real time. So right now I'm in idle control tables. That's what I have set for my real-time stuff. All right, so let's see how this is cruising now. 1,000 RPM. It's just too much. This thing is too long. Let it good. Yeah, it just doesn't like it. Does not fucking like it. Man, that thing sounds bad. It's like something broken in there. Oh well, it is what it is, right? Alright, well, I'm here at the shop. I'm gonna give this stuff to Nick. Maybe grab lunch with the guys if they haven't had it already. And then go back home and start working on some more shit. Did I miss any questions? Now that I can see my screen, I'm not driving. Lots of stuff I missed. Okay, yep, 1,000-mile trip. That's a long ways. New engine broken in. Hope to come over that side to get a tune dialed in and see Hater Dave's new place. Oh, hey, Jake. I didn't see you in there. If you're still here, it's good seeing you, buddy. Look forward to it. If I turn it yes, Nick, I have tuned a Turbo Miata. It was a white one. We did it at Turn-In Concepts. It made like 87 horsepower stock, and then we got like 260 horsepower to the wheels out of it on the same kind of dyno, the dyno dynamics. Buff left leg gang. No, this clutch is easy to push, man. This clutch is easy. Like, it's not hard at all. It's got nice pedal pressure. Like I said, it engages really smooth. Like, the clutch drives wonderfully. It just transmits a frequency to the torque tube, I think, or the torque tube's fucked up. 1,300 one-way, miles, yeah. Plus you get on the timing. Yeah, I mean, it was 30-something degrees when it was doing that. Let me see. Where was it at? Let's go back to, here it is right here. I'll show you.
All right, so this is where I was doing it. This section right here. You see the tiniest wiggle in timing. But the tiny wiggle, 35 to 35 to 34 and a half to 35. I mean, half a degree timing shouldn't cause the car to be herky-jerky. Now, this is O2 sensor. This is actually totally expected. And if you look, it's not that big of a range. These are switching narrowband sensors. And so if you don't know what that means, you need to look that up. The switching narrowband sensors, they go back and forth to keep air fuels around stoic. They have such a narrow range of operation. Like from the top here, this very high end here is like 14.1, and then like the bottom end here is like 15.3, right? Like it's something stupid like that. It's a very narrow band of operation. And so it keeps the AFR really in a tight spot because it's continually making minute changes to keep it in a tight spot. And you see right here the fuel all the way down this log, the trim, is a little bit of a sawtooth there, right? But that sawtooth is a very small percentage in that cruise region. I mean, 1.3 to 2.6 to 1 to 0, right? So that's perfectly acceptable and normal, and that is most likely nothing to do with that roughness that I'm feeling. I look at map pressure. Map pressure is pretty stable through there. Injector duty cycle is really stable. It's like everything's really stable in there, and so I can't figure out what the fudge is going on. Now the timing's 36 degrees. That could be too much. It's possible it's too much. I'm only at 1300, 1400 RPM. So that's possibly too much, but I wouldn't think so because this engine would have a slower burn than the factory would have. And so if I open up a compare map here real quick, and we'll compare it to stock tune. Scroll down to where I got my stock tune. Oh. Adjustment. Here you go. Here's the stock tune from the O2. Open that. And then we'll go to Spark. And we'll go to High Octane. And we'll go to here. So in that spot, I have, I gotta check my air mass. Looks like about 4 degrees more timing than factory. What's my air mass when that's happening? My air mass is 0.23, okay? So 0.23 air mass. So I'm down here. So I'm between -2 and +4, right at 13. So really, I'm about 1 degree more than factory in that zone, which means I might need more. I mean, that's fucking possible. A bigger cam like this can retain more exhaust gas, kind of a slower burn. I might not have enough timing there. That is totally possible. Yeah, I might need to add some right there. Now, if I want to do that, I can do it here, then flash it. But if I want to fuck with it, what I got to do is I got to go to the first main section here, to general, and then under real-time stuff, select what I want to adjust in real time. And then, so in that case, it'd be spark, right? So there's spark and PE. So volumetric efficiency, spark, and power enrichment. So that's basically what are you going to do on the dyno, right? After you've got all the other shit worked out, after you've got your O2 stuff done, after you got your idle control done, then I'm at the point now where I'm just finishing making poles. It's going to be final VE, spark, and PE to get the sucker right. So we would go here, we would save this, and we'd flash this. Now, what happens when I go to the real time, after let's pretend I flashed it. When I'm here in this screen, I hit the real time button, and then let me enable the key real quick, see what happens. Hit the real time button. Then what happens, it gives me these options for, okay, it crashed. Perfect. All right, well, that's fine. I'll flash this then. We'll just flash this one then. Then I will adjust spark, VE, and power enrichment. What?
No.
No? Can you please bring it? I need it.
Can you text me?
Thank you.
Can you text me? I'm super forgetful. I didn't know it was this fucking laser. JC goes, hey, dude, check this. Here's a laser. Help you out with your shit. And then turns out it was his laser. Someone loaned me somebody else's laser. That's not cool. Okay, so here we go. That's flashed on there now. So we got to bring the editor back up. PCM scanner. Oopsie, that didn't work. Try it again. PCM scanner. Hope you like the 10-degree tilt on here. My hand's falling asleep. And my phone's overheating. All kinds of fun stuff. So I connect the car. Hit the real time. And then let's see here, primary VE versus RPM versus map. So this is the volumetric efficiency map. Now, right now it's blank because I'm not using it until I hit the play button. This means use the RAM table to adjust the volumetric efficiency. So we'll do that. It'll populate. Okay, so the RPM we're at. We're here. Now this is what's weird. This is the VE table, right? So absolute pressure. What was absolute pressure when I was having that issue? I don't know because that fucking log crashed. Sweet. So am I in here between two cells that are pissed off? I don't know. Everything seemed really steady, so I wouldn't think it was that. Spark, here we go. Populate the spark table. Do its thinking. There you go. Spark tail's populated. 2, 3, that's right in this range. So now, I'm gonna add some timing. I don't like running this much timing at 1200 RPM. Seems like a lot, but it isn't always. I'm gonna add 6 fucking degrees to it right there. Like so. I should do this too. We'll do that too. So 6 degrees added on right there. And that means a little closer to this one. We'll just see how it behaves. I say we. I'm not gonna be streaming it when I actually test this. Now, this is real time, right? This is a RAM table. But it's also only when this thing is open. If I close this, it goes back to the shit. So if I want to save those changes permanently, I gotta make sure at the end of every RAM tuning session that you do on HP Tuners, you just click this corner, select the whole table, hit copy, right? And then go back to your tune and do the same thing, click that corner and hit paste. And it should work. There it goes. And so you see it added the timing in those tables right there, those cells. So now that's in the tune. I save it. Next time I flash it, it'll be permanent and all of that. So you want to make sure anytime you're doing real-time tuning with these that you do that you save whatever it is you have. This is power enrichment, which I haven't done yet on this car. I just put a generic value in it, which is quite a bit of fuel, hoping that it's enough. But I don't know. Never run the dyno, so I don't know there yet. I don't know if I have that correct in that spot yet. So anyways, this timing table here is actually really close to factory for the 5.7, which means it might be aggressive for this 6.2. Like I said, I haven't spent much time on it, so I should definitely look into that. Because if I compare that to a 6.2 timing table, like in Chase's Grand Sport, let's see if the compare will work on this one. Of course not. Of course it won't. Fuck me. Alright, so we'll just open that up. Chase's Grand Sport. This is factory timing on this Grand Sport. Bring that up. Oh, quite a bit. So a lot like what I have. 23, 21 in that range. And wow, 40 something. 30s up here. Okay, well, I don't feel so bad then. You know, I bet this engine would be happier if I copied more of these values from the factory 6.2 and put it in there. Because clearly this thing wants more timing in this region. And then I added cam and slowed the burn down. It's want even more timing. So this thing's showing 37 and 41 at 1,000 and 1,200. So I would say that I am totally within. Let's copy that. That is totally an acceptable thing to do, is use this now as a starting point for my time map on the other car. Wow, I didn't realize it was that high. Maybe that helps. Let's find out. So 1,000. Yeah, that's way less, right? Will it do the whole cell? It did. Now look at my graph here. It isn't a whole lot different. Definitely added a bunch right here, but not right there. It added through here, but it's actually lower right here in that region. So it didn't change my shape a ton. Definitely added a few degrees in this region too. Okay. Well, that's cool. I will take that to here. I'm going to smooth this a little bit. Knock out that peak some. Alright, cool beans. So I'm going to save that and flash that. And maybe that'll give me something. Oh, you know what? I can real time that too. Huh? I can take this guy. I copy it. Go over here. Go to the real time. Spark table. And paste it. Oh, that's not Spark. That's VE. There it goes. And then paste it. Sweet. Let's check that. So that's 37 at 1. We'll disconnect. And then we'll reconnect. Turn the key off. Turn the key on. Make sure I'm not, see if I'm wrong about that. Will those values still be there? Main spark. Yeah, still there. So I was wrong. Cool. I don't mind being wrong. If it means people learn about it and I learn, I'll be wrong all day. I had a couple degrees of this spot. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Alright, cool. Alright, I'm gonna go in the shop here. I don't know if there's anything cool to show you right now. We're working on the GTR. Is that outside? Yeah, it's outside. So we're not working on that. I don't think everything cool to show you inside, so I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go deliver these packages. I'm gonna get some lunch, and then I'm going to work on some parts development, I think. So, have yourselves a great day. Thanks for stopping by and listening to me ramble and rant. And, you know, shoot a message, Discord. I'm having a good time lately in Discord, honestly. I'm having a good time in Discord, shooting the shit and talking about cars and not just car stuff too, you know, other things as well. So it's been a good time doing that. And, you know, come in, shoot the breeze, play some games if you like. And if you had other questions, you know, that's the best way really to do it. If you got questions I can help you with, Discord's a great way to do it, and email. If it's like, hey, can you tune my car? Absolutely email. So that I have a good history on it, and then I can, I gotta go, phone's ringing.